Okay, he's more deliberative. He's thinking about what's the best thing, not necessarily the best thing for himself, what's the best thing for the country.
Yeah.
And anytime he's ever had any sort of trouble in the comic, it's where he doesn't necessarily doubt himself, but he doubts whether or not these actions that he's taking are going to be the best for the country. The one thing he doesn't want to do, if there's any fear in this fearless man, is that he does not want to drop the ball as king on the country. This country has persevered, and he's been given this great golden thing at this point. He wants to make certain that it stays that way and that it doesn't, become dissolute in his hands.
That's a perfect segue into what we have the issue with, again, Killmonger, and we also have with Lupita Nyong'o's character, where they're like, we need to do more as a country instead of staying in here. And that is where you have the whole thing where, like in Trump, he wants to build, they're building, in essence, they have their invisible wall that protects them from going out, and keeps them in. They don't want anyone else, because if everybody knew that Wakanda was as rich as it is, then you'll have all those teeming millions of refugees coming there and
you don't have to let everybody in to help people.
You don't have to let everybody, but people are going to still want to come.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm trying to say?
Look, we already know everybody can want to come, not everybody's going to get in. That's just a fact of life. Okay? And we don't have to let if you make it so that your outreach is strong enough, everybody doesn't have to come. Okay, so if you're worried about your borders and such, keep your borders strong, but make your outreach strong as well. Then people don't need to come over.
I'm thinking like real world countries. You can have real world countries that have great outreach, but people are still trying to get there because that's where
you're never going to get everybody in, but you're never going to stop everybody. I don't think it's not an either. You don't have to choose either or.
Of course you do. You're going to have to say Wakanda for Wakandans or it's not for Wakandans, because what's going to happen? They're going to get overwhelmed by other people. You know what I'm trying to say? And this is basically what the Wakandans are saying, like the border guards.
There's a very old saying. It's an old Irish saying. Okay, if you have enough, you have enough to share. That's it.
I don't know about that.
Well, you also have to look at it. You also look at this. Like the way they handle it is almost a cynical approach to Wakanda. Like they have everything. Why don't they do everything? Why don't they do this? Why don't they do this with the rest of Africa?
Which you can't do either.
Exactly.
You're not people's fathers.
That's what I'm saying. You don't look at Thor. He doesn't go and like stop the fires in California or any areas of drought. So when you look at it, when Marvel and DC, when Stan and Jack was first started doing the comic, they were just trying to explain why they weren't colonized, because they're hidden, because you understand that if this happened, there's no way they would have been able to stop the colonizers from, the Black Panther doesn't actually utilize the technology. Claw comes in, steals a lot of it, and as a kid, T'Challa defends against it, and he's been preparing from the next, 18 years. Claw's coming back. Claw's coming back, and that's what happens. The attack is like these sonic creatures, and the Black Panther has the helper, but that's how they dealt with the aspect of how this hidden land. But the hidden land is more throwback to like Tarzan or At Earth's Core.
Yeah.
But now we're being cynical. We're like, oh, they got everything because we got all this tech, we got all this graphics, so they have everything because it's just cool. And now we want to be cynical. And I was like saying, hopefully they don't go forward and keep having this show. Hey, this is how we help. They said they're going to help. In our heads, we write the story that they've helped everybody and moved on.
Well, you help as much as you
I don't think
I don't need them to do it. They answered the question. They went to when United Nations over.
That's like the Superman question, where everybody says, well, look, Superman can do everything. Why doesn't he just stay 24/7 helping people? You've got to be able to do some stuff. You have to be able to do the majority of the stuff on your own. And these heroes, they're not there to solve our problems. They're there to keep the playing field, they're there to keep the earth underneath our feet, okay, to keep the sky from raining down on us, so we have the opportunity to solve the problems on our own. They're not supposed to be this panacea that comes in and say, hey, look, we're going to give you all this tech, because it doesn't work at the end of the day. We can't throw money we've already tried it before. You can't throw money at the problem and get what you need.